Welcome to you at home and welcome to our studio audience. This is the Evidence series, and in this programme we're looking at the need for rest. Hands up, I know that I need a lot more rest myself. I'm one of your hosts, Gillian Joseph, and I can tell you tonight we have lots of treats in store. Lots of food for thought and some fantastic music from Ken Burton and his band. Ken. Restful music.
Is that Mozart?
It was Mozart, well done. Dwight Nelson is here. Dwight, rest. We all need more of it, don't we?
Yep, we do. Particularly in the context of stress, which of course is our compelling need, I think, in postmodern Western society. How do you handle stress?
I do a bit of exercise. What do you do?
Don't laugh, but I put jigsaw puzzles together. Kind of embarrassing, isn't it?
That's more stressful. All those tiny pieces.
Yeah, 1,000 pieces is max for me. Anything over and I'm stressed out. But just to snatch a moment, put a piece in, and just forget what it is that's driving life. Yeah. Now,
relaxation, it's not just something that we'd like to do, it's something that's necessary, isn't it?
Yep.
We all need that special time to rest. How do you rest?
No rest for the wicked, so they say. Well, it looks like we're all wicked, because we don't seem to stop. Get your priorities right. Stop procrastinating. Get the job done. Just the thought of taking a break.
Yeah, I will. I'm just doing this at the moment.
Fills me with guilt. There's nothing like the rush of life to make you feel rushed. They say stress is a normal part of life. Why do I feel so burnt out then? How do I relax when there's not enough time in the day for what I have to do? I get enough sleep, sometimes. Isn't that enough?
You know what? I watched that reality piece.
I watched it too.
I'm thinking to myself, it just gives me stress to watch what we just saw, the alarm clock going off, the incessant pounding, and here we are together. Henry, Abrahamian, sitting on the front row of our cafe. You are a man who handles stress. How about that?
True.
You're a businessman,
Yes.
salesman,
Yes.
family man.
Yes.
Don't sing though, do you?
No.
Fortunately.
No.
All
Good.
right. How do you do it?
I am a very self-disciplined person.
Okay.
I use my discipline in organizing myself and my affairs.
That makes sense.
And I get everything done on time.
Everything done on time?
Everything done on time.
Your wife would agree.
My wife would agree.
Okay, that's
when
good.
I tell her 8 o'clock, when I tell her 8 o'clock, she better be ready 8 o'clock.
Oh, you
3
mean
minutes
she?
later.
You mean she gets everything done on time?
No.
Your time.
No.
Come on, Henry.
She has learned my discipline.
Okay.
So she's also practicing to cut down stress.
I see.
So being organized has really helped me personally to cut down stress. That's one area that I have worked quite a bit, and
good for you.
I have no stress.
Yeah. Traffic jams don't bother you?
No, I just sit in them.
You know what? That's probably the best solution there is for the M25. Just sit.
That's right.
Yeah,
you can't do anything else.
Henry, you live around people who show stress themselves. How do you relate to stressful people?
I try to cheer them up
Good.
by saying something positive.
I like that.
In turn, their response starts to become positive, and the negative attitude goes out, and they start to calm down.
Very nice.
This is my approach.
Yeah. You get rest at all?
Yes, I do. I don't mess around with my sleep or exercise. Those two disciplines do not go out of my life.
Really?
Absolutely.
You have found, Henry, you have found 2 key secrets to stress management.
I agree.
Beautifully done.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing them with us.
My pleasure.
You know what, Jillian? Let's take some stress out of our lives right now with that piece of music.
Absolutely, we're going to do that. We all need time to rest and take time out. And this next song is called Take the Time for God. Marco's going to perform it for us. You wrote this song, didn't you?
Yeah, I wrote the song, and it came from the feeling that we all need hope in these dark days. And when I feel the honest feeling, I really want to see and find the God and start studying Bible and looking for God. I get the feeling that hope, and the hope is like midnight sun to me. So let's hear about the song.
Take the time for God. Thank you.
Clock is ticking like the bus, machines screaming all night long, high-tech speeding up the beat, reaching for the speed of light. Money talks and put on the heat, factories won't ever sleep, souls are living in the dreams while the temple falls apart. Like the midnight sun, this day is bright, when holy book opens up. I read your letter, I hear your voice, you bring to life the ray of hope. Entire world is spinning around and all creations dance along. I join in the harmony of life, the holy rhythm of Creator. I tried to deny I'm flesh and blood until the lady had enough. A dream can be like pretty girl, sweet walls on the hall. A passion put the spell on me, I lost the rhythm and my dream. Life can be so, so sweet in divine harmony. Like the midnight sun, this day is bright, when holy book opens up. I read your letter, I hear your voice, you bring to life the ray of hope. Entire world is spinning around and all creations dance along. I join in the harmony of life, the holy rhythm of Creator. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tried to deny I'm flesh and blood until the lady had enough. A dream can be like pretty girl, sweet walls on the hall. A passion put the spell on me, I lost the rhythm and my dream. Life can be so, so sweet in divine harmony. Like the midnight sun, this day is bright, when holy book opens up. I read your letter, I hear your voice, you bring to life the ray of hope. Entire world is spinning around and all creations dance along. I join in the harmony of life, the holy rhythm of Creator. Of Creator.
Marco from Finland there, thank you very much. Well, when we think of rest, what do we think of? A peaceful stream, the pastel shades of a watercolour. When Pauline Oxley thinks of rest, she thinks of poetry. You've used the subject of rest for a lot of your work, haven't you?
Yes, that's right. And we live such busy lives. We're almost on the treadmill, rushing from here to there, doing the things, can't say no, culture of long hours. And
not enough hours in the day.
Not enough hours in the day. And you come home after a busy day and you think, gosh, you know, where did that day go to? And we need to slow down and find time for the things that really matter in life, looking after our bodies, rest and relaxation, as we've spoken about earlier. And it reminds me of a story I once heard about a bug that was eaten away at the trees. The tree wasn't dying, but became very vulnerable to future attacks. And stress is like that in our lives. It really eats away at the very core.
Makes us weak.
And it makes us weak, yes.
The poem you're going to share with us is called Busy People.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. With lack of time, rushing here and there, we've hardly time to stop, to stare. Our busy diaries be filled with plans, preoccupied lives with heavy demands. No time for each other, on the go. Must keep going, can't say no. It's a fast lane, no time to pause. Concern for others, a lost cause. Microwaved meals at the TV or song. The family table, that's almost gone. And so we rush, no time to meditate. Plans low on the agenda to recreate. Meetings, seminars, we must attend. Our busy lives may never end. Too busy for love, too busy to care. Relationships take the strain, it's clear. Exhausted we find ourselves as years went. No time for life's richest blessings spent.
Pauline Oxley, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, I think that poem was about me, actually. Apart from the bit, too busy for love, I do find time for love. But when we don't have much time and we do want to relax, what do we actually do when we find that time, just to spend on our own?
To relax. I'm taking a bath.
I don't relax.
Also ich habe schon immer Sport gemacht. Damit kann ich mich am besten entspannen. Wenn ich mal Stress habe, eigentlich mache ich das auch fast täglich. Ich hatte momentan nicht so viel Zeit, aber normalerweise entspanne ich mich mit Sport oder indem ich in die Natur fahre oder beides kombiniere. Noch besser.
I don't know, just do nothing, I guess. Just spend time with people that are around me, my family, yeah, and just talk.
Sleep. It's good relaxation.
Pa najviše se družim sa ljudima i razgovaram sa njima, a pošto sam ceo dan ovako na ulici, onda svaki put sretnem nekog i lepo se ispričamo i to je to.
Take a vacation.
Relax as much as possible and do something different. Don't just be a work slave all your life.
I just came back from like a 6-week holiday, so I'm like pretty relaxed at the moment.
Well, we've already heard that Dwight likes relaxing with jigsaws. What else?
Is that kind of weird?
It is, I think, actually.
Oh, thank you. Actually, what I have to do is I've got to run. Pounding the pavement for me just releases that adrenaline. I did my first marathon in October, and
Excellent.
So yeah, that's what I do.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned running, because lots of us feel that we're on a treadmill and we simply can't get off. But one person who did get off that treadmill is Jenny Lewis. She was a high-powered businesswoman in Hong Kong, and she just stopped and gave it all up.
I went to Hong Kong with a very important goal. That was to be rich, powerful and successful. I wanted to really own the world, and that was my focus. So I gave it everything. I hardly actually slept. I worked day and night, and rest and relaxation hardly existed in my vocabulary at all. The business in Hong Kong was a fun business to begin with, dressing the rich and successful. My life was very opulent in the fact that I chased the most beautiful garments in the world. Indeed, I owned 6 of the robes that belonged to the last Empress of China, and my whole passion was to own the best, the most beautiful things. I'd even just jump on a plane and go to New York to get one of her robes. I had children, I had 2 children. I would come home to have dinner with them and put them to bed, and indeed go to bed with my husband. But then, when he fell asleep, I'd get up and go back, and I'd work most of the night. I had this great ambition that I thought that when you're rich and famous and successful, you will be so happy, you'll own the world. That will be the whole goal. My life has changed a great deal since then, because I had a moment of revelation when I was sick in hospital, a moment when I was made to rest and relax. And as I lay there in bed, I thought, what have I done? I have a bunch of flowers, but the flowers actually were from my own staff, so I'd actually paid for the flowers myself. And then I realized my life was a total mess, that I didn't have real friends, my feelings had gone quite amiss. Well, I decided I needed to find out what life was really about, because I had not found it out with being rich and successful. And all that pain of working my guts out the whole time hadn't achieved anything. To achieve just to make money, quite frankly, is a very tiny part of life. But to achieve where you've really loved people and been loved by them is achievement. The person in Hong Kong at the time when I was running my business was somebody who had no time to think at all about anything else but the business. Now I have time to think about my life. I have had time to know myself. I believe it's very important to have rest and relaxation, because it's that at that time you can be quiet and focus in on what really is important in your life. You can hear the truth about yourself, and you can realize your own journey. My paintings are all about my journey, the journey that I've taken. You know, the mountains and the valleys, and the turbulent seas, looking for that time of peace, the peaceful pool of water, because that's where you get the understanding what your journey is all about. Of course, we have our mountain peaks and our valleys, but you need to rest and relax to understand your journey. And that's what I have now. I have an understanding of my journey.
That's an incredible testimony, isn't it?
Amazing.
I mean, she had to get to a hospital to figure out, I've got to deal with this stress.
She had to be made to rest.
Yeah. I saw a stat somewhere, 75 to 90% of adult visits to primary care physicians are stress-induced.
Wow.
Probably the visit causes stress as well, but we need to talk to an authority right now. Dr. Rosemary Anderson.
Hi.
Good to have you. Welcome to The Evidence. You are chair of the International Stress Management Association.
UK.
UK. But you are a biochemist.
I am, yeah.
How could a biochemist go into stress management? What's up with that?
Well, that's what it's all about, really. I mean, when we're under threat, whether it's real, whether it's we're facing muggers, or whether it's psychological and we're going for an interview, then our response, our stress response, is a biochemical response. A lot of changes happen in your body, and it's understanding that. And if we don't do anything about it and we carry on without taking the rest, then that's when we become physically ill, which is what we've seen here. That's exactly what's been happening. So if you understand the biochemistry, you can do something about it and know what to do.
So how do I know that I am maxing out at stress? I mean, what are the warning signs for me?
Well, there's various ones. The warning signs are the early ones, and we can classify them as physiological, psychological, behavioural. So the physiological ones might be things like headaches. We might start to get rashes, eczema, that type of thing flare up. You've got cold sores, very small things, but really good signs. Psychologically, you might start to get a bit snappy, tearful. You know, the last straw syndrome, when people say, oh, I only said that, I don't know what's wrong with that. So things like that. And behavioural, you just start to make mistakes and you're a bit confused, late for things. But then gradually, if we don't do something about it, it sort of goes down. If you imagine it's a hill and we've climbed to the top of the hill, we start going over the top, then we sort of suddenly start going really quickly, accelerating down.
These symptoms,
and that can lead to physical and mental illnesses, atherosclerosis, lots of heart conditions, medical, mental illnesses like depression, all that type of thing.
Question, is there any hope for us type A's?
Oh, I think so.
Come on, the society is filled with them,
yes.
right? Hope for us?
Yes, because the type A is fine. It's okay to be a type A.
Okay.
There's this bit of a misconception that type A's are the rush around headless chicken sort of people that do too much.
Okay.
But the research seems to show that it's more, type A's are more prone to coronary problems, to hypertension, heart attacks, but it's a hostility thing. It's not actually a type A behaviour. It's whether it's accompanied by aggression and hostility, so you take it out on other people and start shouting a lot.
So you can be type A, but if you can manage hostility and inner turmoil, it's okay. It's not a sin to be a type A.
It's okay to be under pressure in any shape or form. It's good for us. We need pressure. It's when it's too much. It's when we don't do anything about it, when we accumulate it.
So what advice would you give to people that are at the top of that hill that you described and are heading for the decline? How do they stop that decline?
Right. Well, first of all, they've got to identify what the causes are, because if you don't know what that is, you can't do anything about it. So identify what's causing it, and then you have to start changing your behaviour. And as Henry was saying earlier on, you know, he was a really good example of somebody who's doing the right type of behaviour. So you prioritise, plan, time management, make sure you have time, you don't procrastinate, you get ordered. Don't keep saying yes all the time. Learn to say no, be a little bit more assertive. Yes, we want to please others, of course we want to be kind and help people, but you know, get it in perspective. And if you can change some of your behaviour patterns, then that actually helps you. Sometimes life throws things at us. You can change, you can plan all you like, and you still get stuck in a traffic jam. So that will still cause you problems. So it's changing your perceptions. Henry was talking about laughing and seeing the funny side of things, not letting things get to him. Absolutely. Learn to get that control back by changing your perceptions. If you're stuck in a traffic jam, you can't do anything about it. You're going to be late whether your blood pressure goes through the roof or not.
In just a minute, we want to take a look at that one possible response. But Dr. Rosemary Anderson, what a treat to have you on The Evidence.
Well, we all need rest. We've established that. This next song is entitled I Will Rest in You. And we have an artist here from Sweden, Kersti Esselvall Smors. I need a round of applause for that. I've been practicing all afternoon.
That was very well done.
Glad to have you. What's this song mean to you?
It means that it's very important to find a place where you can find rest. And not only physically rest, but rest for your mind and for your soul. And I find that rest in God. So that's why I chosen this song.
Okay, take it away.
Lord, I'm in the dark. It seems to me the mind is dead when I come calling. No one there, the sky is falling. Lord, I need to know. My mind is playing games again. You're right where you have always been. Take me back to you, to the place that I once knew as a little child. Constantly the eyes of God watched over me. Oh, I want to be in the place that I once knew as a little child. Fall into the bed of faith prepared for me. I will rest in you. I will rest in you. I will rest in you. Tell me I'm a fool. Tell me that you love me for the fool I am. Comfort me like only you can. Tell me there's a place where I can feel your breath like sweet caresses on my face again. Take me back to you, to the place that I once knew as a little child. Constantly the eyes of God watched over me. Oh, I want to
Thank you. Thank you, Shesti and Paul. Thank you, Shesti and Paul. Beautiful unrest. Beautiful, beautiful. Did you know that on December 18, 1898, a Frenchman, get ready for this, Comte Gaston de Chasseloup-Laubat, in his 36 horsepower engine, set the first land speed record. Here it is, a dizzying 39.24 miles an hour. Wow. Some of you drive that fast out of the parking lot, I know. The reason it's so significant is because never before had a human being been clocked, in the history of Earth, been clocked at such a breakneck speed. But his Belgian rival, not to be outdone, Camille Gentazi, 2 months later reached 49.92 miles per hour. Comte Laubat got back into his car, got it up to 57.6 miles per hour, and then it's back to Gentazi with a special electric car now reaches an astounding 65.79 miles per hour. Ladies and gentlemen, today, the human land speed record has been set by Andy Green. Let me put him on the screen here. Andy Green, who at Black Rock, Nevada in October 1997 reached 763.03 miles per hour on land. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no question. We are going faster and faster and faster. The question is, where are we going? Huh? Where are we going? Some are going to water. Let me put his face on. The human water speed record is held tonight by an Australian named Ken Warby, who in Blowering Dam, Australia, get this, reached a very treacherous on water speed of 317.60 miles per hour. We're going faster and faster. Hooray! But again, I have to muse out loud. Okay. So we're moving faster. Does anybody know, A, where we're going, and B, when we get there, what we're supposed to do? On land, on water, and I can't leave this out. Obviously, there's still air left today. Listen to this. Fastest human beings who have ever flown in an airplane, here it is. Let's put their faces on the screen. Al Jorst and George Morgan, who from Edwards Air Force Base in California screeched across the sky at a blurring 2,193.16 miles per hour. Incredible. But of course, the fastest human travel in all of history. You knew this. 1977, returning from the moon, Apollo 10 crewmates reached 28,547 miles an hour. I'm thinking of that character in Shakespeare's play, King John, that character who said, "The spirit of the time shall teach me speed." If he only knew the half of it, because he didn't have a computer now, did he? I have a little laptop computer. What is it, a gateway computer? Do you know that that computer can calculate several thousand calculations a second? 100 years ago, it would have taken a man and a woman 100 years to accomplish the same calculations. But not to be outdone, the Japanese, the land of my birth, I was born in Tokyo, Japan. The Japanese have come up today with a supercomputer called, I'll put it on the screen for you, Earth Simulator. Get this, ladies and gentlemen, it does 35.86 trillion calculations per second. Can you imagine? Trillion. That's trillion. Well, IBM is struggling and right now pouring $100 million into the creation of a new computer nicknamed Blue Gene, which will do more than 1 quadrillion calculations in a single second. I mean, 1 quadrillion. Faster and faster and faster and faster, and we repeat the question today. Great, but where's it taking us? Where are we going as a human race? We're even doing business faster. I saw a thing on the BBC this morning. editor of, is it Speed Magazine? A magazine for the young in this generation. They have come up with the 40 most significant possessions you who are young are to have if you're really going to make it in this society. Do you know what is number 1 on that list? Number 1 of the 40 most important possessions. You got that right, sir. It is the mobile telephone. We can now do business at 186,000 miles per second. What is happening to the human race? We got satellites. In fact, you know what? Right now, you and I are talking because there are satellites in this universe, and I think the satellite we're on to, isn't it Hotbird? Is that the satellite? Hotbird. We're connected right now, live, because of Hotbird satellite. What is happening? We're going faster and faster and faster. But in spite of all of this breakneck speed, have you noticed? We're still feeling harried. We're still feeling stressed. We're still bummed out. All that time-saving speed notwithstanding. Makes me think of a song. I'll put the words on the screen here. I'm in a hurry to get things done. I rush and rush till life's no fun. All I got to do is live and die. I'm in a hurry and don't know why. Huh? Is that it? Have we gotten into such a rat race pell-mell, going so fast that we have forgotten to slow down? Rest? Give me a break. Who gets rest anymore? And without knowing how to rest, could it be that we are losing something that is fundamental to the human race? Now, I'm not just talking about physically we need the rest and mentally we need that acuity, but could it be that there is an inner dimension to being a human that we're losing because we've lost rest? The Smithsonian Museum, you're aware of that museum over in Washington, D.C. They have a giant painting hanging in it. It's kind of this pop art kind of painting. It's a cartoon. It's rendered by the famous artist Roy Lichtenstein. In this giant picture, he shows the head of a girl. We tried to find the picture and couldn't get it on the internet to put it on the screen here. But he shows the face of this girl. The tears are trickling down her cheeks. And this is a cartoon, so coming out of her mouth, you know, the circle with the words in. Coming out of her mouth, these words, I can't believe that I forgot to have children. I got all the way through life. I knew we were missing something, honey. We forgot to have kids. You know what? There's some of us who are thinking right now, maybe you're one of them, saying, you know, hey, I didn't forget about having kids. I forgot I was supposed to spend time with my children. Huh? I forgot. I didn't know we were supposed to fall in love. I didn't know I was supposed to take that walk in the woods. I didn't know that I was supposed to take more holidays. I forgot. Ooh, I wonder if that piece of pop art, in fact, is it symbolic of this postmodern West? We forgot. So busy, we forgot. I mean, I'm hooked up to the internet 24/7. My cell phone is beeping incessantly. I forgot to have kids. The Bakutu tribe. Have you ever heard of the Bakutu tribe? They're in Congo. They have a phrase for us Westerners, and it goes like this. Lolema jola feke. I hate it when people say that to me, don't you? Lolema jola feke. Don't you ever say that now. What it means, put it on the screen here. The bat that flies intensely but knows not where to. The bat that flies intensely but doesn't know where it's going. Talking about us in the West. Feke. That's us. Yeah. Isn't it sad? Racing. Rat race. Going pell-mell. And we forget. Where was I going? You know, we have in our country the National Football League. You know, the Football League. Yeah. Really happened. There was a fumble. Defensive back scooped the fumble up. Said, I got it now. I'm running to the goal line. The crowd is cheering. He's running faster. Only they aren't cheering him. He thinks it's cheering. They're saying, you're going the wrong way. He scored for the opposition. What about us? Maybe there's a crowd somewhere in this universe that is yelling today to you and me and saying, you're going the wrong way. Wouldn't it be sad? Yeah, it would be. Rest. I mean, who has time for rest anymore? And yet I want to ponder with you this phenomenal gift of rest. Look at that. R-E-S-T. Time to start slowing down. Time to stop even and get our bearings straight. Is this really the direction I want to live my life? Is this really the way I want to survive? You know, the moment you talk about rest, you introduce the very physical need. Let's not downplay it. The very physical need we have for sleep. Do you know what? We Westerners today are the most sleep-deprived generation in the history of the human race. Sleep-deprived. I read some research. In fact, it was reported in U.S. News and World Report. I want to put the stats up on the screen for you. I'm quoting now. Each weekday night, listen to this, we get an hour and 6 minutes less on average than the 8 hours that sleep experts recommend. All right? That's an hour and 6 minutes less. Each weekend, you see it there, each weekend night, half an hour less. So we pick up a little time on the weekend. By the end of the year, ladies and gentlemen, we are short 338 hours, 2 full weeks of rest. We are the great unslept, somnambulating, and that means sleepwalking, through life on the verge of sleep bankruptcy, end quote. Did you catch that stat? We are falling behind every single year. 338 hours a year. How many years have you lived? Multiply it. We need a very long nap. Huh? Rest. We have to rest. We're damaging our bodies. We're blunting our minds. We're killing our spirits. Rest, 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 rest. Did you know that an ancient book called the Bible is really big on rest? In fact, if you go to its very first book, the book is Genesis, it makes certain that in the opening story, rest is woven straight into the plot. It's a story about God creating the earth and man and woman in 6 days. And then the story, this is the punchline to the story. I'll put the words on the screen for you. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day, God had finished the work He had been doing. So on the seventh day, He rested from all His work. And God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it He rested from all the work of creating that He had done. Now, folks, I realize that this account can be read at many different levels. And I also realize that there are probably as many interpretations for this particular story as there are interpreters. That's okay. Let's just leave that aside for a moment. What we can all agree on is that for the author of Genesis, it is clear that rest is something primal. It is something foundational to human survival, isn't it? It's just woven right into the fabric of that opening story. I'm going to read you something out of New York Times magazine. I need to tell you, as a preface, just to remind you, in case you forgot, I suppose it's that way with the London Times and the London Guardian and all the rest of your tabloids here. They are not exactly religious fundamentalists in what they portray, are they? So this is New York Times now. And yet here's a piece written by author Judith Shulevitz. And in the context of the creation story, I want you to get the whole quotation. I'll put it on the screen here. She's writing, what was creation's climactic culmination? This is the New York Times, okay? The act of stopping. Why should God have considered it so important to stop? Rabbi Elijah of Vilna put it this way: God stopped to show us that what we create becomes meaningful to us only once we stop creating it and start to think about why we did so. The implication is clear, she goes on. We could let the world wind us up and set us to marching like mechanical dolls that go on until they fall over. What is the Energizer Bunny? Just never stops, just keeps going. Okay, we could be like that because they don't have a mechanism that allows them to pause. But here comes the punchline. But that would make us less than human. Here it is, we have to remember to stop, because we have to stop to remember. Did you catch that? We have to remember to stop, because we have to stop to remember. That's a heavy thought. She's making a very significant point for us human beings. Stop. Stop for what? I forgot. We could have had children. Stop. Stop. I didn't know. Stop. See? Oh, rest, rest, rest. By the way, I want to remind you that everything you own has a purpose. I mean, you have a dishwasher. Do you know what the purpose of your dishwasher is? You know. You know what that cell phone's purpose is? Connect. You have a mirror on the wall. What's the purpose of the mirror? The mirror is to give you your reflection back to you. Very lovely, by the way. Everything you and I own has a purpose. Then doesn't it follow that if everything we possess, if it all has a purpose, then doesn't it follow that somewhere, sometime along the line, we're going to find out, or we need to find out, that even life itself, my life, has a purpose, and so does yours. In fact, let me put this on the screen. No thing, surely it will dawn on us one day, no thing is more important than your life itself. And yet you know your dishwasher, you know your cell phone, but if I ask you right now, what's the purpose, ma'am, of your life? What are you going to say? Well, I'm not sure. Wouldn't that be rather crazy? To not know the purpose of your life? You can have all the things of life, but you don't know the purpose of life? Yeah. What is the purpose? Stop. Rest. Hold on. Who cares about hair dryers? I don't care what kind of toothpaste you use. What's the purpose for you, sir? Your life. If we don't have a purpose for our lives, ladies and gentlemen, we can drop till we can shop till we drop at 186,000 miles a second, and we will not win the game. There must be more. There's got to be more to what you and I are living with in this life. And that's what rest is all about. Rest is thinking, stopping, remembering. All that leads me to one more point. When you take that time, how did the New York Times article put it? Ritualized day of rest. Let's just say you took a ritualized day of rest. What's going to happen to you? Not only are you having time to reflect, why am I here? You know, what is my life up to? Not only do you have time to reflect, but you know what? You're going to be given an opportunity to suddenly conclude, wait a minute. You know what? My life of, what is it, 9 to 5, 7 to 3, 3 to 10, the midnight shift, my life 5 days a week, my work, my possessions really aren't that significant. If you would take this ritualized day of rest, you might be released from this driving, incessant urge to accumulate more. You might be set free from materialism. I suppose Western society's greatest weakness today is our materialism. I've traveled the world over. I've been in cultures where you don't have to have a thing and you can still be happy. But not the UK, the US, the EU, and the AU. Australia. We have to have it. We have to have more and more. But if I took a ritualized day of rest, whoa, maybe that would help me understand that money and things and work don't dominate me. I am to dominate them. They're not the master. I'm the master. You're the master. Take control of your life. You're not a pawn on the sea of fate and chance. Yeah. Well, I tell you, this idea of rest, I like it. This leads me to one more value for rest. Number one, rest allows me to reflect on life. Rest also allows me to release that which I've been accumulating, at least holding it tightly to my heart. But thirdly, and I think probably this is the most important of all, do you know what rest allows you to do? Let me give you two hypotheticals. Two hypotheticals. Hypothetical number one, let's put him on the screen, please. A 70-year-old man who is retired. Now, I got to tell you that that picture on the screen looks like he's about 80, but let's just pretend he's 70, all right? 70-year-old man, he's retired, and now he's thinking. This is hypothetical number one. He's looking back over his life, and he has one big regret, one thing he wishes he had done differently, and this is how he expresses it to himself. I wish I had not spent so much time with my family, my friends, my colleagues, and my neighbors. I wish I had spent more time earning money and hours on the job. Hypothetical one. Hypothetical two. Same old man, 70 years old. At the end, retired, thinking back over his life, and he muses to himself, if there was one big regret, one thing I could do differently, here's how he would express it. Hypothetical two, I just wish I had spent more time with my wife and my kids and my friends and my neighbors and my colleagues, instead of being so bloomin' consumed with my work and accumulating a fortune. Ladies and gentlemen, hypothetical one, hypothetical two, which one's reality? Of course, it's number two. Nobody's coming to the end of his life, I should have worked more. Nobody. You know why? Because what matters most to us in life, we were just talking about this our last time together. What matters most to us in life? Relationships. And rest could be the perfect entree for us to reconnect with what is most significant for any human being, to reconnect with relationships. As we noted in our last time together, that ancient book, the Bible, says a whole lot about relationships. In fact, I would like to suggest to you that when we read these words about God resting, as we did just a moment ago, it really is not simply descriptive about God resting. There is inherent in it an invitation for humanity to rest as well. In fact, that's exactly what happens in what are called the Ten Commandments. Let's put Moses. How do we get a picture of Moses? I don't know how we did that, but we did. And there he is with the Ten Commandments. Now, at the moment I say Ten Commandments, I know what you think. Oh, please, I know the story. I saw the movie. Thunder and lightning and anger and earthquake and fire, and then thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not. Oh, don't go to that, please. Well, I'm going to go to it. Because, come on, let's be honest. Aren't you kind of glad that there is the fifth commandment that says, honor your father and mother? Aren't you kind of glad that the human race thinks that's a good idea? Aren't you kind of glad that there's a sixth commandment that says, whoa, don't murder your neighbor, no matter how you feel? Aren't you glad there's a seventh commandment? Don't commit adultery. How about number 8? Don't steal. How about number 9? Don't lie. How about number 10? Don't want what's not yours. Is there anybody here who thinks we'd be worse off if we had to live by these? No. We all believe. Of course, it's just part of life. It's relationships. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, do you know the Ten Commandments? I know, forget the thunder and lightning for a moment. The Ten Commandments, when you reduce them to their core, are designed to protect every single relationship that matters to you and me as human beings. Every single one is protected by the Ten Commandments. They're not bad news. They're very good news. And by the way, in the Ten Commandments, there's commandment number 4. Can I share number 4 with you? I'll put it on the screen. This is commandment number 4. I'm going to read the entire commandment to you. Number 4 goes like this: remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. And by the way, number 4 comes before all the ones I just mentioned that are protecting human relationships. So it's kind of foundational to getting on with each other. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son, nor your daughter, here come the relationships, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your animals, nor the alien within your gates. Why? For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, but He rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. End quote. Now look, I understand. There's a lot of controversial theology and science that could be, and even philosophy, embedded in these texts. And we could, I suppose, fruitfully have a wonderful day together debating that. I'm not interested in that. I simply want to remind you that the 4th commandment introduces what in fact is primal and foundational to the human race, and that is you got to have rest. If you want to succeed on the relational front, you have to have rest. You won't make it. You won't make it without rest. See? Remember to have rest. That's amazing, isn't it? I mean, you think about it. That's right along with don't murder and don't steal. It says, please rest. It must be important. Don't you suppose? Yeah, it must be. It must be. Maybe we're commanded to rest because we need that time to grow and enhance, to strengthen our relationships. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Could it be that if we took more time to rest, there would be less killing, less stealing, less lying? If I took time to rest so that I could concentrate on a relationship with you, why would I want to cross the fence and, 5-finger discount? Take that out of the store or out of your yard. Why would I? Because I respect you. If I took more time to rest, relationships, wouldn't they mean more? And then the rest of the commandments, maybe they would all kind of just fall in place. You think about it, relationships need time together. You got to have time, time, time. I lost my dad less than 2 years ago. 75 is too young to die. I miss my dad terribly. Oh, if I just had some more time and we could talk, Dad, and I need some counsel. My boy moved out of the house. He's 24 now. I miss him. I wish I had more time now to talk and just connect with Kirk. In fact, I don't have this in my notes, but there was a song once. I'm sorry, I don't know who sang it, but Cat in the Cradle and the You ever heard that one? Yeah, who sang that? You know? It's a story about a boy who grows up saying, Daddy, I want to play. Daddy, I want to play. And Daddy says, hey, listen, I'll get home from work one of these days. I'll come home. We'll have a great time then. We'll be fine then. Or something that ends with the word then, doesn't it? And it goes all the way through the boy's teenage years. And then he becomes a young man. And the father retires. And he says, son, let's get together now. Let's play now. And the son repeats the identical words he's grown up. You remember that song? Cat's in the Cradle. That song. It's life. You got to have time for relationships. Time so that what is most important in this life, you can grow and strengthen. That's why we need rest. This ritualized day of rest, you know what? The New York Times may not be that far from the mark. A ritualized day of rest. You know, maybe what it is, let me put this on the screen. God demands that you not allow your work to interface with the quality time that you need in order to build and strengthen your relationships. That's pretty radical. Maybe that's what the 4th commandment is all about. You think about it, ladies and gentlemen. God has made certain that 1/7 of your time be devoted. 1/7 of your time be devoted to relationships. Rest. 1/7 of your time, rest. Focus on relationships. Let me sum up in closing by reiterating these 3 priceless gifts. I call them the 3 R's of rest. The gift of rest, number one, is a rest that allows me to reflect. Who am I? Why am I here? I need that rest. I also need a rest that allows me to release. I don't want to be a slave to my possessions. I'd rather be master than slave. Rest and reflect, rest and release, and finally, as we've just been saying, rest and relationship. What matters most in life to me? A time away, some rest so that I can draw in to these relationships that are in the end what life will be about when it's all over. The 3 R's of rest. Rest and reflect, rest and release, rest and relate. All of it wrapped up in a gift of time that the ancient Bible calls the Sabbath. Could it be that it is a gift from someone who has always known that you need that time? A gift of time for the rest of your life. For the life of me. I can't figure out why you wouldn't take that gift.
It's been great to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we know that we've raised some questions and you might want to get in touch. You can email us, or you can get in touch via our website, or you can even give us a call. We'd love to hear from you.
Could it be, though, in closing, that our hunger for rest has been actually placed deep within our hearts by someone who longs to offer us the rest of eternity with Him? You think about it, and join us again next time for more of The Evidence.